But this, of course, is the reality in so many of the areas along the line of control at the moment. There is blackout in parts of Rajasthan, parts of Punjab and parts of Jammu and Kashmir that has now been imposed. And we, of course, need to find out more in terms of how things are progressing. Because remember, the ceasefire came into existence at about 5 p.m. local time here in India. And the fact that we are spotting drones in less than 3.5 hours after that ceasefire agreement that was mediated by the Americans is going to raise a number of different questions. And also joining us in the broadcast, we have with us retired Lieutenant General D.R. Soni, the former GOC in ATRAC and Southern Command of the Indian Army. General Soni, thank you very much indeed, sir, for joining us here on WION. Now, at this moment, this is what the reality is. There was a ceasefire that was agreed upon that came into effect at 5 p.m. Indian Standard Time. And less than 3.5 hours after that, we are seeing these drones over the Indian airspace. What are we to make of this?
Thank you, Mohammed Salah, for having me on your show. The first thing I want to say through your channel to everyone is that, firstly, please have patience. Don't be alarmist. And do not panic, because whenever a ceasefire has been announced, it's a diplomatic announcement, it's a national announcement, but if you go back to the 71 war, it takes even up to 48 hours for the last round to be fired, the last shell to be fired across the IB, or in this case, maybe the LC. So it is nothing to worry about. Decisions have been taken at a very high level. If you remember, Pakistan, the DGMO actually called up ours at about 15:35, 15:45. And then at 1700, this decision was taken at a national level, at both the national level and possibly at an international level. What I'm trying to say is, it's only 3 hours.
Right.
There are drones. Yes, there will be drones. So we need not panic, because nothing has stood down. And trust me, Mohammed Salah, nothing will stand down. Even on the Indian side, we will remain on high alert. Our forces will be wherever they are, posturing in the manner they are, till a very long time. Even after the next, say, 48 hours, 72 hours, they will stay there. Their standing down will be a conscious decision taken after the situation on ground across the international boundary, across the LC, is studied by our government. So we really do not have to worry. And we need not panic. And please, from the media, please do not try and generate panic amongst the press, because also, Mohammed Salah, the Indian population in today's India has not seen a war. The 71 war, we are all elder. Yeah. And the majority of the population don't really know what to expect. We are the people who should bring a bit of a balance, a bit of a peaceful, non-panic situation and feeling amongst our population. You're doing a good job as a television channel, and that's why I'm speaking on your channel.
Absolutely.
So keep doing the good work and keep assuaging the fears of our public.
That indeed is true, General. It is important not to panic even in a difficult situation. I think your words are, of course, very reassuring, because the Indian armed forces are, of course, there on guard, and they, of course, would not have, brought their guard lower. That's an important point that you've made. And this is not to create panic, but this is a situation that a lot of people along the line of control are being confronted with. The fact that we are witnessing drones over the Indian airspace less than 3.5 hours after this agreement was agreed upon. You mentioned that it takes time for a ceasefire to completely take hold. With that being the case, is this about, instructions from the top command, not going down to the soldiers on the ground? Is that what is happening here?
No. Well, you could view it in any way, but just remember, when you announce a ceasefire politically, everyone wants to get his last round in. Everyone wants that, I know it's ceasefire now, so what can I do in the next 24 to 48 hours?
Right.
It's a human thing. Just remember, 2 boxers in a ring, the bell rings, before the referee stops the last punch, one of these guys is going to try and make the last punch land. just for physical effect, just for moral ascendancy, just for any kind of effect which says, okay, ceasefire, I've been asked to stop, but I can still do this. Let's not worry too much about it. Let's watch. Nothing has changed on ground again. Let it stop itself.
Right.
Then we will talk. Okay, Mohammed?
Absolutely. No, your point is totally valid, General. The fact that there needs to be more time that needs to be given to this, that's a valid point that you're raising. But this is something that needs to be said over and over again. Anytime Pakistanis make a claim, India must not just take Pakistan at its word, but needs to verify this. In your assessment, the fact that they have agreed upon for a ceasefire, how is the Indian military establishment approaching this?
With a lot of caution. Pakistan is a duplicitous country. I have no hesitation in saying so. Their military, I do not trust. And we should not trust. Why should we trust their adversaries? I mean, imagine they consider themselves and they shout it out from the rooftops that we are the saviors of Kashmir. We want to save Kashmir and Kashmiris. And they're bombing the hell out of places in Kashmir, in J&K. It is rhetoric, but with a duplicitous intent. Now look at our Prime Minister when he said that any act of terror will be treated as an act of war. Politically, if you view this, he has left the door open for any kind of reaction that India would plan to take in the future. Have you seen it? It's not that we are going to fight against terrorism. We are going to fight against terror, the international war against terror. It is leaving the door open for any kind of reaction we might want to take at any point of time.
Right.
Now, that is the way that we need to keep thinking. We need to keep preparing that whenever a trigger does take place, firstly, do we consider it a trigger? Number two, do we consider it the apt moment for taking X, Y, or Z option? And then let's do it. Now, with that in mind,
right,
I personally believe, and I'm reiterating it again, let's wait and watch. Nothing has stood down as far as the military is concerned. The population of India must be secure. We know what we are doing. The military knows what it's doing. The Army, Navy, and Air Force. We know what we are doing. We know our enemy. We've studied our enemy over years. And we are ready. So we are not going to stand down.
Absolutely. Absolutely, General. Your words are, of course, very reassuring for all the people who are, of course, listening to what you're saying. But just out of curiosity, because a lot of people would also want to know this tactic that Pakistan seems to be employing over the course of the last 3-4 odd days, where they're firing a number of these drones that are said to be unarmed, and that is what had happened over the course of the last 4 days. And what we are witnessing today are these drones that are flying over the Indian airspace. What is the military logic behind something like this?
Okay, the first logic. There are a couple of them. The first logic, we can. It's possible. We can send in multiple drones across. Number two, drones are not only weaponized, they are for surveillance too. So that could be a possible reason for surveillance. We talk about switching off the lights and stuff like that. That was applicable probably in 1971. Today, our surveillance, our technology permits us to look through the night.
Right.
It's daylight in our vision devices sitting thousands of kilometers or miles away. But it is a mental thing to be prepared, and it's a mental thing to be able to tell somebody we are sending in drones. Frankly, it would not be so much of an issue about these drones, maybe the numbers that are coming in. Otherwise, frankly, you in your news channel, you would know, Pakistan has been sending drones regularly across the IB in Rajasthan, everywhere, for various purposes, for drugs, for surveillance, for so many things. It's just that at a point of time right now when we are a little touchy, when we are suspicious, very suspicious about what could be the possibly military reason for sending in so many drones, that we are a little worried. Again, I would say, let's read it, let's study it, and let's record it, that this is happening. So what can we do about these?
Indeed. General Soni, you mentioned that, this generation has not seen war. The last time blackouts of this nature were witnessed, it goes all the way back to 1971. That is 54 years ago. And also because of technology, the nature of warfare changes. Even if there is a blackout, as you pointed out, there are cameras, there are, night vision cameras where they can see things as if it is daylight. So what is the point of having these complete blackouts in areas where these drones are being spotted?
Yes. So you need night vision devices to actually target a specific target. But to look into an area, you actually need daylight or sunlight or some kind of a light. It is good that you're blacking out an area because now that drone has to actually search. And when that drone is searching with its night vision capability, it is going to be subject to enemy fire. That means Indian fire. It is susceptible to being brought down. And hence, despite the advances in technology, I'm okay, and I believe that it is good that you actually conduct these blackouts. One, that you are not showing a huge city. Frankly, when you're landing in an airport, when you're approaching, say, Delhi, when you're approaching any city, Amritsar,
right,
it is lit up. It is lit up so massively that thereafter it's just a matter of time for a specific selection of a target based on your intelligence. But
right,
that ability to look at that huge lit up city is on a platter. That is what should not be given. Make it as difficult for the enemy, despite technology, despite all the capabilities he may have, make it as difficult as possible for him to cause damage to your people, your establishment, and your country. That is the point.
I think that's a crucial point that you're making there. My final question to you, General Soni, is this. At this moment, we want to reassure all our viewers, people who are watching us from the length and breadth of the country, of what is happening at this moment along the line of control. Everything is under control. And even though these drones are being spotted over the skies in some areas, a lot of them have, of course, been neutralized with the systems that we've got in place. But General, I want to give you the last word in terms of, how people should be at this moment, looking at how things are unfolding. The fact that these drones have appeared less than 3.5 hours since that ceasefire has been in place, what should we make of this, and what should the common public actually do? Okay.
So firstly, just remember, I must add here, in continuation of what I was saying earlier, it's very difficult to shoot down a drone. You see, your air defense is capable at a certain height. Below that, you need certain different weaponry to take out a drone. A swarm of drones is that much tougher to take out. So yes, it's going to be tough to take out drones. The point that must be remembered is it's nothing to worry about right now. Again, 3 hours, 4 hours, it is early days. People who actually should make the difference are sitting there ready, weapons cocked, and in highest degree of alertness. We have to trust them because they are actually the saviors of this nation at this point of time. We must support them not by generating panic from the rare areas where their families and children are,
right,
but by generating a lot of support, saying that we're with you, we believe in you, and we believe you'll do the best. And that is what our people sitting in our cities, especially the social media shooters,
right,
who kick off and pass on everything. I mean, like my friends and everyone telling me, oh, Karachi is burning, this is shut up, this is destroyed. No, relax. Trust your military, trust your government, trust the people who are leading your country. On this note, can I just say one more thing?
Go ahead, General Soni, please, go ahead.
What I want to say is, we always say that we want somebody else to come and sort out our problem. We want someone to get Pakistan to do this to us or hand over someone to us. I would have a little something to say on this. Maybe it is time to consider, let's do this ourselves.
Absolutely.
Let's take out somebody ourselves. I quoted this thrice in your program. The Wrath of God was done a couple of years ago by the Israelis take out people who have harmed you one by one. It will take time. Be patient. Again, I'll say the vulture is a patient bird. Take out these guys, show the world. We are not interested in sorting out a nation. We're not interested in territory. We are interested in sorting out any individual who harms an Indian on Indian soil or elsewhere, and we will take him out. So it's time that we also stood up as a nation and stopped saying that somebody else should come and help us do something with somebody else. No.
I think you're making and touching upon a very, very important point there. And this is exactly what India has also now decided to do. Because, a little before the ceasefire agreement was, of course, announced publicly, Government of India sources had stated very, very clearly that any act of terror by the Pakistanis will be viewed as an act of war by India. And the cost that Pakistan will have to pay will be much higher. Your assessment on that?
Yeah. He's left the door open, you see. He said, you do this much. So far from 1989, we've been taking this act of terror that you're doing, or these acts of terror that you're doing, and we've been taking them in a very, very muted response, a graded response, etc., etc. But hereinafter, it is up to us to choose what will be the grade, the standard, the state of response that we have to any future such acts. It will not be as per what you've seen so far. It may be. But the option to select the level of response is ours, is with me and my country and the population of my country. However, what is also so reassuring is that as far as the people who matter and the people in government, and there is entire lack of jingoism and the attitude that we'll sort them out, we'll do this, whatever be the public local opinion. We've been very responsible, very mature.
That is true.
And I'm really proud at this point of time to be an Indian and having served for so long in the Indian Army, where every life matters.
That indeed is true. Every life matters. Every life of an Indian matters. And terror attack is something that we simply will not take lying down. But General Soni, I want you to also weigh in on what some people have been saying in the past as well. Very quickly, if I could just ask you this. The fact that the likes of Hafiz Saeed, Masood Azhar, they get state patronage. They're seen as assets of the Pakistani deep state. Why do you think so far India has not actually taken down these individuals who've been heading these terror outfits and fomenting so much trouble in India?
Okay, firstly, we can never legislate what the other person thinks, says, or does. So if he's giving somebody the importance, we have no choice but to let it go, because frankly, that's his perspective and his prerogative. As far as us doing whatever we're doing, we have been measured so far. We've been measured in our response. We've been measured in our approach to such a set of people. Maybe that's exactly what I'm saying. Maybe rather than letting off an all-out offensive, an all-out action, an entire nation action and war, is war by a nation, not by the military, not by a formation, not by a set of people. It's by the nation. Maybe there is another option of dealing with such individuals. Maybe it requires a little bit of planning, a little bit of strength inside yourself, to undertake such an operation, because you know that every action has a consequence. All right. So you need to be very, very clear in your mind that this is what you want to do. However, Mohammed Salah, tell me something. Frankly, one or two individuals, what they're doing, there are people even in the West who are talking about separatist issues with other states of our country. how much does it really affect an Indian? We are Indians.
That is true.
Caste, creed,
That is true.
color of skin, political, background, whatsoever, doesn't make a difference. We're
Absolutely.
Indian. So is it necessary to actually undertake resources other than to thump your chest that, look, I've done this? Is it necessary to go there? We are a nation on the move. We are developing. Our economy is flourishing. It's going to grow. Let's concentrate in one direction. Let people do what they want to do. Let's go there.
Right. No, I think the point is
the
point that you're making is indeed very, very important, General Soni. We are a nation of 1.4 billion people who are on the move. And the fact that these individuals, they cannot come and destabilize and disturb the harmony in India, because the Pahalgam terror attack was done with one stated intention, and that was to create a rift between the Hindus and the Muslims in India, because that is what the terrorists wanted to happen. But of course, they have completely failed. And India's response in ensuring that terrorists cannot come and have a free game in India, that any terror activity, there will be a price that will have to be paid by the terrorists, I am pretty sure is a message that has been well received. But we're completely out of time, General Soni. Thank you very much indeed, sir. Yes, one quick point, very quickly. Yeah.
I was so proud, and I am still so proud, that despite the efforts to create a rift within our country, within the countrymen, the brethren that we have, whichever, again, I'm saying caste, creed, religion, nothing worked because everyone stood together. The three-wheeler auto driver, the pawn shop seller, the political person, the industrialist, the businessman, everyone of whichever caste, creed felt this is wrong for India. It should not be permitted to happen to my country. And it's their country, it's our country. For everyone, they believe this is true. And I think that is something which is very, very important, which Pakistan has to know, that irrespective of what you try, we are Indians. We will remain Indians. And it'll not happen that you can ever cause rift of this nature.
Absolutely, indeed, General. I think that's a very valid point that you've made. No one can affect the unity and fraternity and strength of this nation, and definitely not the terrorists. Thank you very much indeed, General Soni, for joining us with that perspective there.
Wonderful speaking to you. Wonderful.
Wonderful speaking
with you.
Have a nice day. Thank you.
Jai Hind.
Jai Hind.